Hi everyone, I'm Melissa Dudan coming to you with a new version of Trend in Vegas. We're going to start breaking down one topic a week that you guys are talking about on social media. This week we're talking about the iconic circular bridge that's being projected to be built at Sahara and Las Vegas Boulevard around 2023-24. It's getting a lot of attention on social media, with most people really excited about it. But we want to know more. When is it going to be built? How much is it going to cost, and who is it going to affect? Let's go out to the scene for a closer look. Okay, everyone, I'm out here at the corner of Sahara and Las Vegas Boulevard. I'm joined by our Executive Director of Infrastructure, Mike Jansen. If you look at this, we're out here on a Tuesday morning. It's busy, so I can't even imagine a Friday night, a Saturday night. Tell me about this intersection and why this bridge is needed.
Exactly, Melissa. You know, what most people don't realize is this intersection is one of the busiest in the entire city. On an average Friday or Saturday, this intersection sees 70 to 80,000 vehicles a day going through this intersection. That's just the vehicles. What that doesn't include is all the pedestrians. And so you can imagine on a Friday and Saturday night, when there's an event going across the street or when all the hotels are packed, thousands of pedestrians go through this intersection while all those cars are trying to get through as well. So it's a really, really busy intersection.
I know I have driven in this area on a Friday, Saturday night, and it's really nerve-wracking as a motorist to make sure that you don't get hit and that you're watching out for those pedestrians who are darting in and out of traffic, just getting frustrated because they want to get by. So we talk about this bridge. When did this concept of a circular bridge come into play?
Yeah, actually, a lot of people may not recall the history. So the LVCVA, as well as the Regional Transportation Commission, initiated a very big transportation effort about 6-7 years ago. It was called the Transportation Investment Business Plan. The focus of that was to look at the lifeblood of our community, Las Vegas Boulevard, and find out what are those infrastructure investments that are needed now, in the near term, and in the future to allow us to continue to grow as a community. Our whole tourist economy is really Las Vegas Boulevard. So around late 2015, they adopted the preliminary master plan, and in that master plan was 8 new pedestrian bridges up and down Las Vegas Boulevard.
Oh, wow.
One of them was this location right here, and it was identified in the master plan as an iconic circular bridge. That's really how it got identified, through that effort, through that study, and it was later adopted by the Regional Transportation Commission Board a little bit later in 2016. So as the entities do, the county, the city, we work together to implement those master plans. This is just one of those projects that we're implementing from that study.
And for a long time, this area didn't see as much traffic as it had in the past. You had the Sahara that closed and then reopened, and then Walgreens wasn't here necessarily. But now it's a booming corner again. You have this lot, they just held the Day in Vegas festival. Yeah. So we're talking about tens of thousands of people in one location. And then we have the city of Las Vegas, the Arches sign. That's a big tourist attraction as well, so it's really needed here.
There's so many great things going on right now in this particular area, and if you just do a quick check of what's happening to the south, what's happening to the north. You mentioned the Day in Vegas festival. We actually reached out to the event promoters just yesterday, and they said they had over 150,000 attendees at this location last weekend. So if you were out here last weekend, you wouldn't believe how many pedestrians were using this intersection. Additionally, just to the south, we had the recently announced Fontainebleau is back on. Look, there's a massive project that's going to be bringing more traffic, more pedestrians to this area. Just south of that, the LVCVA completed their expansion. Just adjacent to that, you have the Resorts World, so that's just on the southern end. That's going to bring additional traffic and pedestrians to this intersection. On the northern end, the Stratosphere is about to do an $80 million expansion, a really cool project going to be doing on the north side of the Stratosphere. And then we have our Arch. So between the Stratosphere and the Arch, two of the most iconic destinations for tourists, they all want to get a selfie either with the Stratosphere behind them or our Arch. All those pedestrians, they're coming right through this intersection. And so a lot of people forget that it's not just a busy vehicular intersection, but the pedestrian activity is immense.
Okay, so let's talk about timeline, because now everyone's saying, okay, great, there's a plan in place. What's the timeline? What are we looking at here?
So the plan is always tied to funding. And so when that plan was adopted back in 2016, the RTC identified a funding stream to implement these projects. And that funding stream is going to be available in 23 and 24. So our current plan is, and what a lot of people were talking about at City Council meeting last week, we had an item on there to advance the design to the next level. We're going to have the design completed by the end of next year. So the end of 2022, The design will be completed. We're looking to bid the project. This bridge, which includes other improvements as well, we'll be adding a right turn lane on a couple of approaches, a host of safety improvements, upgraded lighting in the whole intersection. So that bidding is going to be first quarter of 23, and it's going to be about an 18-month project to construct. So really what you're looking at is an improvement that today is not there, but by the end of 24, this heavily traversed intersection is going to have more traffic capacity. It's going to be safer for pedestrians, and it's going to allow our community to continue to grow, because without it, this intersection will continue to break down. And I know we didn't mention, Melissa, some of the statistics on this intersection beyond the traffic volumes, but I think it's important for folks to know this intersection right here was among one of the worst in the entire county, not just City of Las Vegas, but all of Clark County, for crashes over a 10-year period when they were doing the study.
Wow.
What they found is almost 600 crashes occurred in this intersection, close to 350 injuries, and two fatalities.
Oh, wow.
Of note, the 2 fatalities were pedestrians. And so a lot of people, they see the intersection and they wonder, hey, why do we need this bridge? Well, if you look at the data, we talk a lot about doing data-driven decision-making. This is clearly a project that was identified because of the data.
And it sounds like every jurisdiction has some sort of stake in it. So this is important for everybody, not just the city, not just the county. You have the RTC in there as well. This is, we've got to fix this.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize Sahara is our border with Clark County. So unincorporated Clark County maintains all the infrastructure south of Sahara. We have everything north of Sahara. So this is one of those projects where either the city or the county could have initiated it. I met with my counterpart at Clark County and we said, hey, this is a project that's important. City's going to lead this one because there's 6 or 7 more pedestrian bridges to the south that he's going to be working on. So really it's a partnership. Again, like you mentioned, Regional Transportation Commission looks out for the whole valley as a whole, what transportation improvements are good for everywhere in our community. This is just one of the projects that city and county are working together to implement and bring those dividends to our community.
Well, we look forward to it. 18 months doesn't seem so bad once it gets up and running. So thank you so much for meeting us out here and explaining everything.
Anytime, anytime.
All right, some really interesting stuff coming to Las Vegas Boulevard and Sahara. Remember, if you'd like to never miss an episode of Trending Vegas, subscribe to our newsletter. Just put your phone over the QR code on the screen and follow the prompts. That's going to do it for this Trending Vegas. We'll see you next time.